Добрый день, уважаемые коллеги.
Good morning, dear colleagues. Thank you very much, and I'm very happy to have this opportunity to speak at such a professional meeting we have today. And I will mostly speak about the approaches to implementation of the state policy, because setting the policy is, of course, the competence of the Energy Ministry Mr. Matreikin represents today. I will say a couple of words about the Energy Agency. It's a departmental organization which is aimed at providing practical activities to implement the state policy on improvement of energy efficiency and energy savings. The Russian Energy Agency is operating in different areas. The main are providing innovation, development of fuel and energy complex, and also providing the transition of industries of energy over to the best practices and technologies available. Also creating a state information system of fuel and energy complex, which is to become the basis of information analytical analysis and forecasting and development of fuel and energy complex. And one of the important areas, I think, is the area to facilitate introduction in implementation in companies of system of energy management according to the requirements of international standard 100,001. And I also would like 150,001. And I would like to say that we realized long ago that just to introduce technology only is not enough. If the people are not involved in the process, if they're not motivated and they don't understand what kind of objectives and how they're going to achieve them, then the system, if we can call it a system, will not achieve the efficiency it should. That's why understanding or realizing that 150,001 is the focus of the best practices and the concentration of the best experience, we think that this is one of the most important tools to achieve the indicators of energy efficiency that we currently have to achieve. That's why I would like to say a couple of words as to what we have achieved in Russian Federation already, and what kind of difficulties we have, and what kind of areas of cooperation we can view, international cooperation, and how we view the organization of our joint work. As is known, the international standard 50,001 was adopted back in 2011, and in 2012 already the Russian Federation also adopted an authentic national standard, ISO 50,001. And then on in elaboration of the requirements of the international and national standard on energy management, at the request of the Ministry of Energy of Russia, the Russian Energy Agency has developed a methodology of introduction of this standard, and the one we proposed to be used in energy and industry, a set of standard documents. And the documents were the foundation of the activities that were performed by the Russian enterprises to introduce the energy management. And I would like to say that we have been working closely and are working closely with the UNIDO organization. Marco Mateni is here, and I think that we have progressed very much from the point of view of methodological part and training of specialists of the best practices and the practical implementation of projects in industrial enterprises. And I think that we are cooperating quite well, but I think that the prospects are even bigger. Recently, according to the request of Ministry of Energy, we have analyzed the practice of an introduction of energy management, introduction in the companies, in energy companies, aimed at assessment of methodological approaches and also the performance and efficiency of introduction of energy management system in the companies. And our conclusion then was that mostly the system of energy management is introduced in larger companies, like holdings, big holdings with high energy costs, with a very complicated organizational structure. And when we try to prove to the companies and inform them on the effects that this system could provide, we first of all were based on the data that had been provided by UNIDO, and which shows that the companies who already introduced will reduce their energy consumption by 2 to 3%. For major companies, that's a great number. And if we do this assessment, then introducing the energy management system should pay back just the next year after the introduction. So that's why it was very interesting for us what happens in this company and what kind of indicators those companies can provide. And our survey that we undertook showed that 35% of companies who introduced this energy management system, the share of costs for energy resources amounted to more than 5%, and at 70% to 2.5 to 5%. So this international practice was proved here too, and we think that this system as an organizational measure is very effective and doesn't require a lot of investments, but is very efficient. And number two is that introducing the system of energy management creates the basis for introducing other technological measures and actively involve the staff and the management leadership into the activities, and provides an instrument for systemic energy efficiency and energy saving activities. So now, as for the barriers or obstacles to introduce the system, well, the first thing is low level of information on the efficiency among the leaders and the staff of organizations. Second is insufficient information on the best practices and methodology of this energy management system. And the next thing I would say is lack of active measures of stimulating and support of energy management system. And also what we really faced was the lack of approved methodology of assessment of efficiency or benefits based on the ISO 50001, because the first question the leadership of companies usually ask, which are aimed at higher energy efficiency, is to how much it will cost and what kind of benefits we would have, what economic benefit we would have of that. So I think that it is very important to really approve this kind of methodology. And I think that we should put it up at the level of discussion of professional society or community, to put it to attribute the status for the companies to make the decision whether to introduce it or not, being based on already aligned and approved document. So here is the view as to what should be changed in the existing legislation, and I don't want to frighten you or scare you and to look maybe not exactly taking into account the past experience and the existing reality, but still I think that our main law on higher energy efficiency and energy saving should have a norm on mandatory introduction of energy management for a number of major consumers. And this kind of norm is exists in other countries. And to really introduce it, we have to work hard and to do the preparatory work to train people and the companies who are competent and who can responsibly introduce this energy management system. But I think as of 2018 or 2019, we could really introduce the norm as a mandatory for a separate category of major consumers. And the time that's left should be spent to really prepare the work. And then, as I said, we do need the methodology of assessment and other organizational measures. We need support measures for companies that have introduced the system and demonstrated positive dynamics. And also very important, and that's what we are trying to do, is to inform the organizations concerned about the efficiency and methodology of introduction of this energy management system. And also, as for the areas of possible cooperation with you, with other foreign organizations that are working in the same direction. I think that the best practice, and which is confirmed by our cooperation with UNIDO, is to conduct training seminars providing the best practices on energy efficiency at energy companies, and also exchange of experience to facilitate energy efficiency and exchange of information on specific examples of implementation of this system of management, with confirming the efficiency and effectiveness, and also implementation of joint projects at Russian energy and industrial enterprises. Thank you very much. Ready for cooperation. We'll be happy for any proposals to improve the activities in this direction. Thank you.